I have a question for you, Mr. Luc Besson. It's mostly on the writing, and I'm really curious to know like how you structure your scenes when you're on page one on a blank page, when you're adapting either a comic or wanting to do an original film, and do you have any tips on how to improve writing a script as time goes by? Thank you.
The first thing is the prep. In fact, I'm starting to write physically the script, like sequence number one, enter your day, very late in the process. The first process is characters and what do you want to say. Sometimes it's just a line. I want to talk about the craziness of the society. You don't know exactly where, you don't know how, but this is what you want. You start to write your characters and you have to define where you're starting, A, where you're going, Z. And then after, I'm working with 4 acts all the time, so you have 4 pages in the front of you, and then you filled up your 4 pages, little by little. It can take 3, 4, 5 years, doesn't matter. Every time you have an idea, you put it in, you know, and you have to build your characters, your storytelling this way on 4 acts. When you can tell the entire story, then I start to write. It's almost like if I'm printing. And then you write, and then usually it goes fast. I mean, for me, it goes fast. But the process before that, could be very long. And what we were saying just before is also trying to, it's not about sitting and I want an idea, what can I do? And, you know, I don't believe in that at all. If you have a problem or if you have a character, put some mathematics in it. We were talking about Léon earlier. When I start Léon, I don't have Matilda at all. I have Léon, and I put in the front of Léon everything to make Léon react. A man, a woman, a father, a son, a neighbor, a young girl, a plant, a cat, a dog. And then one by one, mathematically, one by one, you writing the plus and the minus of each of them. And then you realize that the one who is the most interesting is the little girl, because it was very black and white, you know, tall and small and young and old and innocent and guilty. And, you know, so then now you can play with that. You can make him react. And then the story is coming. So it's not about having a first line in your head and then wondering where you're going to go with it. It's honestly, if you start like this, it could take forever. But the most important is to be able to tell the story in a couple of lines. And it doesn't depend of, I'm telling you a story, for example. There's this young boy and this young girl, and they fall in love deeply. But unfortunately, their family hate each other. That could work. You can write it, you know, 16th century. You can write it in the future. You can write it in LA, in Paris, in a musical. It doesn't matter. But this line is very important because that's the essence of the film. And if you follow that, then you can't be wrong.